Welcome back to Horror Movies.
Today, I will be showing you an American horror film from 2020 titled Incision. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The opening scene begins with newspaper articles revealing about a surgeon who is mentally unstable. The sick surgeon kidnaps teenagers and performs gruesome surgeries on them, altering their facial structure. He has also eliminated some of his patients, and a massive manhunt is set out to find him. In the following scene, one of his patients sobs after seeing her hideous reflection in the mirror. There appear to be various surgical tools in the surgeon's room. Elsewhere, a model named Landry is about to undergo plastic surgery at a clinic, but she backs out at the last moment because of nervousness. She then claims that she is not yet ready, to which the receptionist replies that she can return whenever she wants. Matt Casey, Alexa's boyfriend, is at home with a friend. His friend persuades him to end his relationship with Alexa because they suspect she is secretly dating another man named Trey. Alexa soon arrives, and his friend exits. Matt questions her, claiming that he saw Trey's message on her phone, to which she responds that Trey is just a friend. A few moments later, Alexa receives a phone call from her mother, who informs that her sister, Becca, has fled the rehabilitation center. Worried, Alexa leaves to find her sister and Matt follows her. After a while, Alexa locates Becca and inquires the reason for her escape from the rehab center. Becca responds that she no longer wants to stay there because she isn't addicted to drugs. In the next scene, a couple, Calvin and Trinity, are seen sleeping together. After a while, Trinity goes to the restroom and discovers that she is pregnant, which she conceals from her boyfriend because she does not believe it is the right time. We are then introduced to their friend, Kenny, who is also living in the same house. Meanwhile, Matt and Alexa arrive at Calvin's house, and Kenny opens the door for them. Alexa introduces her sister to Kenny, who immediately begins flirting with her. Calvin soon walks downstairs to meet his friends and requests that they listen to Trinity's new song. As a result, he requests his girlfriend, Trinity, to bring his laptop from the bedroom closet. However, Trinity is unable to locate the laptop in the room. Calvin then asks Kenny about the laptop, but he is unaware of it as well. Kenny suspects it's in the car, but they don't find it there either. Calvin is furious with Kenny because the laptop contained a valuable hard drive that Kenny misplaced. Following this, the group uses a mobile app to track down the whereabouts of the laptop. To their surprise, the laptop is located a long distance away from their home. Furious, Calvin yells at Kenny, demanding that he return his laptop no matter what. Trinity thinks it's impolite and tells Calvin not to do it again. Calvin appears to be irritated because Kenny is always careless and acts like a child. Trinity walks away after hearing this, but Calvin follows to console her. Trinity soon reveals her pregnancy, but Calvin does not appear to be prepared. She manages to persuade her boyfriend, claiming that he will be an excellent father. Later, they are concerned about Kenny because he hasn't contacted them for a while. Elsewhere, Kenny arrives late night at the location, which appears to be a house. He knocks on the door and soon an old lady approaches him. The granny welcomes him inside and offers him some brownies. Kenny attempts to inquire about the laptop, but the granny repeatedly ignores him. As a result, he decides to search the house by himself while the granny sits and watches TV. Matt, on the other hand, acts ignorantly with Alexa because he is still skeptical of her. Alexa tells him that his belief is false and instructs him not to behave like a baby. Elsewhere, Kenny enters a room and starts searching through the things but doesn't find the laptop. Suddenly a boy named Timothy appears out of nowhere, which startles Kenny. Timothy invites Kenny to play with him, but Kenny declines the request. He instead asks for the laptop, but the boy begins to flee. Kenny follows the boy down to the basement. He slowly walks inside the dark place and discovers a victimized woman inside a cage. Seeing her terrible condition, Kenny becomes horrified. He attempts to open the cage in order to free her, but it is locked. He then decides to seek assistance, but at the same time, a giant named Philip appears in front of him and knocks him out. Elsewhere, Matt is apologizing to Alexa for his dubious behavior. Calvin and Trinity arrive soon after, claiming that Kenny is still missing. As a result, they all set out to find him. They eventually arrive at the same location and discover Kenny's car. Because the house appears to be dangerous, Alexa suggests that one of them stay in the car and call the police if the rest of them do not return within 10 minutes. Becca decides to stay in the car, and the couples walk to the house together. Without knowing who they are, the granny opens the door and invites them in. However, Calvin refuses to enter and inquires about Kenny. At the same time, a man arrives and requests that Granny go inside because Dr. Bennett is waiting for her. He informs them that Kenny is in the bathroom and suggests they wait inside rather than outside in the cold. Calvin refuses to enter, but Trinity and Alexa eventually persuade him because they need to use the restroom. On the other hand, Becca is waiting inside the car while she listens to music. Suddenly, the trunk of the car opens, startling her. She steps out of the car and discovers Timothy behind the vehicle. Becca inquires as to how he got there and how he opened the trunk, but Timothy refuses to answer and instead wishes to play with her. She tells the boy to return home, but Timothy instead starts praising her beauty. He then reveals that his family makes people beautiful by cutting them. Suddenly, the giant appears from behind and captures Becca. Inside, the man introduces himself as Dr. Gene Cunningham, a person who beautifies people. He then offers all four of them a drink. Alexa and Trinity repeatedly request the doctor to call their friend along with a laptop, but he ignores them. Seeing the doctor delaying them, Matt gets enraged and he threatens to get Kenny. However, the doctor calms him and assures him that he will get Kenny. After a while, he wheels Kenny into the room, who appears to be lifeless. The group is terrified of Kenny's state because one of his eyes is missing. The doctor claims that his son Philip doesn't practice in the same way that he does. Calvin becomes enraged and attacks the doctor, but Philip quickly arrives and knocks him down. Soon after, Matt also collapses because his drink was spiked. Alexa asks the doctor what he wants, and he responds that he wants to beautify all of them. The doctor then injects Alexa with a drug, rendering her unconscious. Trinity rushes to help her boyfriend, but she too is knocked out by Philip. When everyone is unconscious, the doctor instructs Philip to prepare for surgery. In the next scene, Becca regains consciousness and discovers herself bound in a bed. Soon after, the doctor as well as Philip arrive and decide to restructure her face. He promises Becca that he will make her more attractive through incision. Meanwhile, Calvin regains consciousness and finds himself in an ice-filled bathtub. He pulls himself out of the bathtub and notices that both of his legs have been chopped off. He cries out loud and drags himself to the hallway, but he is apprehended by the granny. The doctor soon arrives and drags him down to the basement. Trinity regains consciousness and sees herself strapped into a wheelchair. Suddenly, the little Timothy approaches her and invites her to play with him. Sensing the opportunity, Trinity promises to play with the boy, but only if he unties her hands. However, Timothy flees, claiming that he is unable to do so. After a while, Philip appears and leads Trinity to the basement for surgery. The doctor instructs Philip to bring her close to Calvin so she can observe the surgery. He also shows her the unconscious body of Becca lying inside a container. After a while, the doctor begins the procedure on Calvin. He screams in pain as the psychopath doctor cuts the skin around his eyes and lower lips. Alexa regains consciousness on the other side and discovers Matt lying beside her. She calls Matt and tells him that they need to flee. She also reveals that she was planning his birthday with Trey. Hearing this, Matt starts feeling guilty. As they are talking, Timothy approaches Alexa and invites her to play with him. She agrees to play with him, but she requests that Timothy release them first. Timothy initially denies, but Alexa persuades him by telling that if he helps them, she will be his best friend. Delighted by her words, Timothy finally agrees, but he only helps his best friend Alexa. She then leaves the basement with Timothy's assistance, promising to return soon to play. After escaping the house, Alexa walks to the car but doesn't see Becca. She looks for the car keys but can't find them as well. Hence, she runs to a neighbor's house for assistance. Inside the basement, the doctor is now attempting to perform an incision on Trinity's. Before beginning the procedure, he directs Philip to go upstairs and administer another dose to the couple. When the doctor discovers Trinity is pregnant, he becomes more interested in dissecting her. Philip discovers that Alexa is not in the room and quickly informs the doctor. Hearing this, the doctor becomes enraged and he dashes outside to find her, leaving Trinity uninjured in the stretcher. As Philip is about to administer another dose to Matt, he headbutts the giant and knocks him down. Meanwhile, Alexa finds a car approaching her and stops it for help. After seeing her condition, the lady inside agrees to drive her to the police station and instructs her to get in the car. On the way, Alexa recounts the entire incident, and the lady introduces herself as Marcia. As Alexa is thanking Marcia for saving her, she notices that she is being taken to the same house. But before she can make a move, Marcia injects her with a drug and she falls unconscious. It is then revealed that Marcia is the daughter of the old granny. Inside the house, Matt finds Becca while hiding from the family members. He takes Becca with him, but they are unable to leave because their path is blocked by Marcia and the granny. Becca and Matt then proceed to the basement in order to save their friends. Calvin is inside the container, and Trinity is on the stretcher. Matt tries to save them, but he is attacked from behind by Philip. Trinity then stabs Philip with a surgical tool, but the doctor quickly arrives and cuts her neck, eliminating her. Matt is then allowed to see his girlfriend, whose face has been brutally restructured. Following that, the doctor administers an anesthetic injection to him. After a few moments, the doctor pulls out his special surgical tool and begins the incision process. He slashes one of Matt's hands, causing Alexa to cry in horror. At the same time, Becca takes a surgical knife and stabs Philip in the eye. When the doctor sees this, he becomes enraged and chokes Becca to her demise. Alexa then stabs the doctor from behind and flees. On her way, she comes across Marcia, but she immediately eliminates her by stabbing her in the neck. She tries to escape through the door, but Philip catches her. Timothy arrives at the same time and bites Philip, releasing his best friend. In the next scene, a couple is driving in the same area when they are pulled over by Alexa. Seeing her miserable state, they decide to take her to the hospital. As they are about to leave, the evil doctor and Philip approach them. Philip knocks down the boy, while the doctor injects a drug into the girl. When they are interrupted by a random guy, Philip knocks him down as well. After subduing all the victims, the doctor orders Philip to get the bodies into their car. During this time, Alexa drives away in the couple's car. While driving, she finds Timothy in the car, who invites her to play. Alexa agrees and both of them drive away. In the final scene of the movie, the doctor is seen performing his cruel incision on the victim he just captured. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.